host, and today we are going to have a deep, emotional, and eye-opening conversation. But before we begin, I want to remind you that I've released a brand new video on people pleasing. And if you've ever found yourself giving too much to people, shrinking yourself for the sake of people around you to be comfortable, avoiding conflicts, or even pouring love into the wrong people that don't deserve your love, that video is specifically for you. So please make sure you watch it till the end, and just watch it after this live stream. I'll greatly appreciate. Now, today's topic, we are opening a very deep and a very sensitive chapter. That is the chapter of domestic violence, just from the title of the video. And this is not just a topic, it's a lived reality amongst people. Millions of people across the world have lived it, you understand? And some are even going through it silently. They fight it silently, they don't talk about it. Some are healing, some are still trapped by it, you understand? And some have maybe escaped. The emotional damage remains. This is a topic that one of you requested me to do a live stream on, so I chose to do it today. I've gotten enough courage to do it. So today we talk, we heal, we grow, we learn, and we breathe again. You understand? Yeah. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's enjoy this whole conversation today. Yeah. I would wish to understand where you're watching me from, where you're viewing me from, and you can as well just send a hi. Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm glad you're here. God has sent you to my channel. Yes, I really do appreciate you. Mhm. Yes, I'm a Christian. I keep on saying this. Why do people ask me that? Yeah, I am a Christian and I really love God so, so much. And kindly let me know when next, what topic should we discuss next. Lex Chevnel, hi, how are you? Lexshar, I don't know how to pronounce your name. How are you doing? Where are you watching me from? My name is Joy Victory. Yeah. Where are you watching me from? So I want us to discuss about this topic. It's a sensitive topic. It's all about domestic violence. You're watching me from United States? Wow, I'm super glad you're here. Welcome to Kenya. Yeah, so kindly subscribe to my channel. Don't leave without even subscribing. Just that is the little way you can show me that you people support me. The people who have joined my live stream, kindly support me by just subscribing. You can as well share the live. You can as well comment. I'm seeing everyone. How are you doing? I'm doing fine, and I thank God. How are you doing? Yeah. Kindly share my live, subscribe, you can like, you can comment, feel free to do anything. This is just a home to everybody. Yeah. You said hi. That's okay, no problem. So I want us to understand what domestic violence is. I've never faced domestic violence, but I'm just doing it out of the many researches I've done. So we are going to discuss this topic. It's a very sensitive topic. It's a topic that most people have undergone in the world. And anybody who has gone through this kind of an abuse, I want to just say sorry, and God is actually your ultimate healer. So what is the meaning of domestic violence? Domestic violence is just not only physical abuse. Mostly when people hear about the word domestic violence, how are you? Crazy vids, hi. Black, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Hi, kindly let me know where you're watching me from, and kindly don't leave my channel without subscribing. That's the little way you can show that you're supporting me. It's just to appreciate me and just support me kindly. So I was talking about when people hear this word domestic violence, mostly people, what actually runs in their mind is the actually the beatings that people have gone through, the slapping that ladies or even men have faced, the physical harm. That is basically it, how people view domestic violence. But abuse, I just want to tell someone that abuse really starts long before that very first slap or that very first hit, you know. It begins mostly in the subtle ways that someone actually breaks your confidence. They really ruin you, you know. They disrespect your emotions, or even make you feel lesser of yourself, you understand. And these emotional wounds actually are often the deepest. They're actually the deepest wounds that anybody might have incurred, you know, because the wounds actually bruise the soul and not the skin. Mostly it bruises the soul of a human being. So if I'm to explain further on what domestic violence is, mostly it's just a pattern of control and not an incident. It's not just an incident that happened, it's just like a pattern of control that once took place from these people who actually are the abusers. You understand? Yeah. What's the meaning of that emoji? I don't understand it. You can just like as well just send a long text so that I can read what you mean. Yeah. So abusers really always want control of they always want control over how you think, how you view things, you understand, how you act, how you dress, how you spend your own money, the money that you've just like worked for, how you communicate to people around you, or even communicate to people generally, and even some of them will even feel the air that you breathe. They just want to control even the air that you breathe. And I want to tell you that control really grows slowly. It's not just something that happens in one day. It always grows slowly. And today it's always actually to actually today it might start as a comment from this particular person who is an abuser, and tomorrow it might turn out to be either jealousy of a kind. Stina, hey, how are you? Where are you watching me from? Thank you. Welcome to my channel, and kindly feel free to subscribe to my channel. That's the only way you can support me. Thank you so much. So tomorrow it might turn out to be jealousy. The next day it might turn out actually to be isolation. They isolate you from the people around you. They'll make you view the people who are around you as bad people, you understand. And later on it might not turn out to be violence, and that violence might actually be of physical form. And that is how abuse looks like. Abuse basically looks like a tree. It begins with a seed planted before it blossoms into a bigger tree. So it's actually a seed planted in silence. That is how I understand by the word abuse when it comes to domestic violence. So domestic violence actually can happen to anyone, whether you're educated or you're not educated, whether you are rich or you're poor. It is just something that happens to anyone. Domestic violence does not care your title, it doesn't care your status, it doesn't care about your status, it just comes. You might be a teacher, you might be a doctor, you might be an engineer, or even a psychologist. It just comes. It doesn't care about the kind of status you hold or the kind of position you come. Mostly this abuse actually has got nothing to do with intelligence. It has a lot to do with manipulation compared to any other thing. Yeah, so that is how people view domestic violence per se. So we also have some I came prepared with some notes, you know. I came prepared with some notes. So like we have like some forms of, I think, the signs of domestic violence. That is how I can talk about it. So number one, you'll actually feel the fear or tension around these people who are actually the abusers. You'll always feel tension around them. Like your body knows danger even before your mind admits that this is danger. You understand? And actually, when someone enters the room, your stomach will tighten up. You'll just feel like it won't like you're just not relaxed around them, and your mood will actually shift instantly. And that is actually not I want to tell you that that is not love. Most people confuse it for love, but it's not love. It's just your way to survive. It's a survival mode. You understand? And another thing is that you'll actually walk on eggshells when it comes to abuse. You'll always come on eggshells. That some small things will actually set these people off. You understand? Mostly small things set abusers off, and you carefully choose words when you're with them. You can't like just talk freely. You actually hide your real feelings, how you feel, how you view them. You hide it. You can't like express yourself when you're around them, and you can't say that they are wrong, because there is something that actually may occur when you tell them that they were wrong. And you'll actually stop being there for yourself and become a version of yourself that doesn't really want to provoke danger. Mbappe fan. Well. How are you? Where are you watching from? Yeah, mostly you'll always become a version of yourself that doesn't want to provoke danger, because you feel like anytime something might happen from these people who we call abusers. You understand? And another three, another thing about this is a sign of domestic violence, that these abusers actually will isolate you from your support system. Abusers always want you alone so that they can easily shape your reality. You understand? You know, when you're next to people, it's quite difficult for them. It's not an easy thing for them to do. So most of them will convince you that your friends are bad, that your family are jealous of you, that they don't want a good progress for your own safety, and everyone just around. Actually, this actually gives them full control, you know, and you always don't know that you've given them access to control you. And some of them will actually invade your privacy, and by this they'll start opening your phone. Some of them will start reading through your messages, through your emails. They'll go through your phone contact list. They want to see the people you communicate with and what you do when it comes to communication. And mostly they disguise this thing as love, but it's not love. It's And neither is it protection, because some of them will always, they're trying to protect you from the people who you're talking to. You understand? So the reality of the matter is that most of them are always there for surveillance. They're not really protecting you. They're not protecting your feelings. They're just there for surveillance, and they want to monitor your plans, your connections. They want to remove threats that will actually hinder them from abusing you. You understand? And most of them will always ensure that you have no help for escape. That's why they take control. And another thing that shows that is a sign of domestic violence is mostly they'll belittle you, and they'll always constantly insult you. So they always attack your appearance, your intelligence mostly. Some of them will even talk about your background. You know, when it comes to love, you always share like almost everything. You'll talk about your background. They'll insult your background. They'll insult your insecurities. They'll actually make sure that they've used your insecurities against you. And they'll always make sure that you're nothing. They'll completely destroy you. And they'll make sure that you're useless, and no one, actually they'll always remind you that no one will want you. They've just like given you they've done you a favor by having you around them. So over time, those words that they've told you mostly become now an inner voice. You start believing the words they've told you. So that is how abusers work. Yeah. And another thing when it comes to toxicity from these people, it's that they always gaslight you. They make you question your reality. Now this is the point where now you start imagining, you start imagining things, and you'll actually never find answers to whatever thing you're imagining. And they'll always tell you that you're too dramatic, mostly when you try to question them, or mostly when you try to react to some things that they have done. They'll tell you that you're too dramatic. And mostly these people will always villainize you and victimize themselves to make you like just apologize for nothing. It was their mistakes, but these people will again make you apologize for something you didn't do, and they'll always make sure that you're the problem at the end of the case. You understand? So this actually destroys the sense of your own truth. So you'll keep on living with an inner voice that has believed in lies compared to your own truth. And we came to realize that mostly when it comes to domestic violence, people who have been abused don't always leave this. When okay, for those people who are married, most of them don't leave these marriages because I think now this is where trauma bonding applies. They now turn out to have bonded with these toxic people because number one, they fear restarting life, they fear being alone because their life has been so much wasted. Like, when someone actually has broken you emotionally, you'll actually begin believing that you cannot survive without them. And mostly your fear of loneliness will always sprout, it will always grow. And loneliness becomes even more than abuse because you are convinced that you cannot do without these people. So that is number one reason as to why most people who have gone through domestic violence don't always leave. You'll always find people blaming them, saying that why didn't she leave that marriage or why didn't he leave that marriage? You understand? It's because mostly they just fear starting life again. They fear restarting. They fear being alone. You understand? They've clinged to this bad behavior because their inner voice has accepted the lies that they were fed with. And another thing as to why these people don't always leave is always that most of them hope that these particular abusers, will come to change. But the truth is, abusers don't change. They really don't change. Always remember that abuse is non-stop. It will never come to an end. And most of this abuse is always mixed with cruelty. Actually, it's actually a mix of cruelty with affection. They mix it so that you keep on getting confused. You can never predict them. One minute they act cruel, the next minute they act like they really love and care about you. So mostly they'll always apologize, crying, and then they'll promise things to make it up for whatever they did. You understand? And some of them actually, some of them may show you that they have changed, and this kind of change will actually happen for, like, let's talk about few days. They'll just act like they have changed for a few days to just like make sure they've made you believe in them. And remember that the victims will always hold hope into these people because now this is the time they're acting okay, and you'll now start thinking that maybe this time this person has changed, but the truth is they've not changed. So that is another reason as to why most people who have faced domestic violence don't always really change. And then another aspect, I think it's now domestic dependence, financial dependence, and this applies mostly to women. Most women get married. Some okay, I was reading through I was going listening to a certain podcast, and this lady was actually the speaker at that particular podcast, and she said that the current husband she has was as a result of financial decisions. Like, she knew things around her were not okay, and the only way for her to survive was to get married. So most ladies, I'm not saying all, so not, I don't want to be misquoted, but most ladies will actually make financial decisions of settling down. And so mostly it begins when someone is jobless because they feel discouraged, and now these abusers will actually discourage you more from working so that they make you feel actually jobless. And because your fear of being homeless, you understand, your fear of just being poor, you now turn out to fall for their trap, and living becomes a bigger danger than staying. You just like, well, anytime you feel like leaving, you start questioning, where will I go to, who will I run to? Because at times some of the people who have gone through these bad financial decisions, most of them actually always feel like afraid or even scared going back home. You understand? So it turns out that leaving becomes even a bigger danger compared to you staying. You understand? Another thing is children. And most people who have gone through domestic violence, don't always live for the sake of the children they have with their abusive partners. So most of them will actually say that I'm just here to protect the children, I'm just here for the sake of my kids. Like my kids need to grow with both a father and mom. But I just want to say that children actually growing up in violent homes is even more dangerous, because it leads to deep emotional scars. Hassan, how are you? You've again started what you were doing yesterday, the kind of games you're playing, right? Typing and retracting your messages. Anyway, feel free. So most of these kids who have grown in homes where domestic violence is actually a norm, they turn out to suffer deep emotional scars. Most of them really learn fear. They can't express themselves because they feel like, if my mom went through this, I might again go through it. And some even grow up being more confused. They now don't know how to differentiate between love and abuse, and even some of them distrust their environment. If you're so keen enough, you were doing story time, I gave you a topic. I just like narrated to you a story on domestic violence. I told you about this child who got a man, and the man was too loving, but for her, she was like, Madam, I'm very sorry, you should forgive me. No, I don't have any bad blood with you. It's just that I always wonder, why do you retract your messages? Yeah. So I was narrating a story yesterday, and I was telling you people that this lady grew up knowing that men are just too masculine to always endanger women, because she was not given a chance to interact with other people from different families, to be able to understand that kids too get love. You understand? Dalmas Okelo, hi, how are you doing, Dalmas? And where are you watching me from? So yeah, so that is basically it. If you can go back to our yesterday live stream, you'll get to understand this whole topic about how kids grow up with fear. They always get confused. Let me even subscribe. Thank you so much for the subscription. Kindly, everyone who is here, kindly subscribe to my channel. I'll greatly appreciate. That's just a single way of you appreciating and supporting my channel. Yeah. So that is number one. Another factor that makes people stay when it comes to domestic violence. I'm from Kenya. Wow, that's super great. Karibu sana. I really do appreciate you. Kindly ni support by subscribing to my channel. I'll greatly appreciate. So another thing again becomes shame and societal pressure when it comes to these people actually who have faced abuse. Most of them don't always feel shame because they fear being judged. That actually they're a victim of judgments, and now they don't want more judgments from the society. You understand? They fear being blamed. And there was a movie, a Nigerian movie that I was reading. Most movies narrate stories of what happens in the world. And this lady ran from actually he ran away from she ran away from this man and went back to her parents' house. And when she was trying to say that, oh, my man beat me up, the mom told her, what did you do? Like, the mom even didn't want to listen to what this man had done. Instead, she asked her, what did you do? So mostly people will actually stay in these toxic relationships because they fear being blamed actually they fear being blamed for leaving the relationships. They fear people saying that, why didn't you leave earlier when this person was doing this? So mostly you'll find that shame has kept them trapped in one particular place. And as I was talking about trauma bonding, and I just want to like redo it again about trauma bonding. Trauma bonding, for somebody who just like asked me, I think trauma bonding is just a one way of emotional attachment that is repeated. It's actually a repeated pattern, and it turns out to be repeated cycles where of abuse and affection. You keep on clinging towards it. So most of the people actually, you'll find them actually, you love them but also fear them. You fear these abusers and you love them. Dinner on me, beautiful. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. Chi- Chill Joy. Kindly subscribe to my channel. Okay, so most of them, you love these people. Honestly, you love them, but you'll always fear them. And you see, like, you'll actually find that both comfort and pain is actually a powerful bond for you with that particular abuser. And mostly this bond becomes so terrible. It's always extremely hard for you to break it. So that is actually one way that, actually, those few that I've mentioned are are actually the reasons as to why mostly people who have gone through domestic violence always stay there. They don't leave easily. You understand? And when I was doing my research, I came to understand that we have different types of abusers, and I'm just like going to explain. We have like 6 types of abusers. Number one, we have the charmer, and this the charmer, the charmer in public, they're always angels. They seem to be respectful. They seem to be generous. They seem to like be helpful, and everyone will always love them because of what they portray publicly. But behind closed doors, they always become more manipulative, very violent, and even controlling. So no one actually will believe the victim because the abuser publicly images like, actually, this abuser publicly images themselves as flawless creatures. You understand? And number two, we have the controller. The controller actually is the person that wants to dictate your life entirely. They can't let you make your own decisions. Cyrus, Mide, whatever, hell. Anyway, let me just leave you. We have the controller, you understand? And a controller is that person who like won't let you make your own decisions, from how you dress, from where you go, from who you see or interact with, maybe about your hairstyle, maybe about your money. For those people who are, oh, hello, how are you? For those people who are earning money, you understand? So like they want to take control, they want to dominate over everything. Kindly subscribe to my channel. Yeah, and I've responded with the word hi. How are you? Yeah, so mostly they always want to be the center of your world. You understand now? That is what these actually are, the controllers. Number three, we have the manipulator. Actually, the manipulator is one who twists your truth. They'll really make you get confused. Like they'll make you feel wrong even when right. You understand? And mostly they'll always make you apologize even for the things that you've not done, and they'll always make you feel like they'll actually use guilt as a leash so that you just like revolve around your, hi Benson from Canada, and send me your number. I yesterday I read my number, and if you're keen enough to view my videos, you'll find my number in my description. In my channel, in my profile, you'll see my number there. Just go there in my channel, get my number from there. Yeah, that is very simple. Check, can you, how can you check balance on YouTube? I don't know because I'm not earning yet. Repeat, +2547903777926, and I'm done. So that is basically the manipulator. As to how I was talking about the manipulator, they always like guilt trip you mostly. And we have number four, the jealous abuser. So what do I mean when I say that there is a jealous abuser? The jealous abuser, actually, they frame jealousy as love. Like, only acting this because I love you. That's how they'll always turn to explain it. And what actually they call love is always not love. It's always mostly ownership and not love. And number five, we have the silent punisher now. These are the people now, when they're angry, they won't shout at you. They will actually ignore you and even use silence on you. They withhold affection, communication, and support. Basically, they turn out to be so cold. And this emotional starvation forces you to beg for their attention. So these people are actually silent punishers. And the silent people are the worst kind of abusers, you understand? L stream, yeah, this is a live stream. Kindly subscribe to my channel. Yeah, for you, Benson, you're asking for my number. I hope you've subscribed to my channel. Yeah. And then we have the explosive one. They have actually, these people always, the explosive ones mostly, they always are unpredictable because you cannot tell when they're angry or happy, you understand? They can hit you anytime, and mostly when they've exploded, they can even throw things to you, they can scream, they can bang things up, they can be physical even without a warning. Like, you don't expect anything from this particular person. How they react, you don't understand. And afterwards, they'll always start now apologizing, shedding crocodile tears, crying, and even promising to change, but the cycle will always repeat itself. So I think I've explained well when it comes to types of abusers, and if you've not gotten it well, you can as well go do more researches about it. So we have now, because I'm a very good mental health advocate. I really advocate for mental health, and I can't do anything without relating things to mental health to mental health advocacy. So I want us now to relate domestic violence and mental health, how they correlate. And domestic violence actually can lead someone into depression. That is number one. Like, you'll always feel heavy, hopeless, and even more drained. Like, you're just drained. That the joy in life actually has faded and it has been replaced with emotional numbness. You understand? Yeah. Number two, anxiety and hyper alertness. So mostly these people actually who have undergone domestic violence will always jump at small sounds. Anytime something just like bangs, you you get those panic attacks. Yeah. And you're always preparing for the next attack because you just don't know when it will be. You're just always ready. And you'll never rest because you don't know how to. You've not trained your brain on how to rest. So another thing, number three, it's PTSD and post-traumatic. I don't know how it's said in full, but someone can help me from the comment section how to lengthen the PTSD. But I just know it's when it comes with flashbacks and nightmares now. This is now when you get relapses of it. Like, your mind starts replaying those traumatic moments over and over again, and you feel trapped in those memories. That is now what I'm trying to mean, the relapses. And then we have this low self-worth. These abusers will make you think, actually they'll make you begin to think that you deserve the abuse. Like, you can't do anything without the abuse, and mostly they'll make you feel like you're unlovable and useless and even broken because of how they talk to you, on because of how they handle things to you, they handle issues with you, you understand? How they handle you will actually make you have an inner voice that has believed in whatever things they told you before. We also have emotional numbness. So you actually start feeling that you start actually feeling, I guess, and the feeling can actually be so painful, and that turns out to be your emotional survival mode, like, because you always just believe you just stop feeling things because you feel like when you start feeling something, you've just like done with things, you're just exhausted, you understand? And lastly, some people always go into suicidal thoughts because a lot has been happening and they never got any help they needed. So when someone destroys your spirit, darkness begins to dominate in your life. And many victims actually will reach a point where they feel like life is meaningless, like it has got nothing on them. So that you don't feel the urge to keep on living. Yeah. And why do these people who have faced emotional who have faced domestic violence do not speak about what they are going through. Number one, they feel like no one will ever believe them. From what I've just like told you guys is that, you see, I was telling you about the story of a lady who left who left her toxic husband and went ahead to go. Actually, she ran to her home, knowing that she'll be embraced at home. And the mom was like, "What did you do?" She wouldn't like ask her, "What did your husband do?" So mostly these people will, especially if the abuser is charming from the outside. They remember that I talked about the charmer. Yeah. So if he's charming from the outside, they'll always be dismissed, and mostly the emotions will always be dismissed. So they'll never find a reason again to speak or complain about these particular abusers. And another thing is that they always fear being judged, because people will often say that, "Why did you stay?" And like, "Why didn't you leave early?" You understand? And which actually, this all will always make you feel like it has guilt trapped you. So you turn out to be voiceless mostly. And another thing is cultural and religious pressure. Now, this is another thing. Some people always say the Bible says divorce is not allowed. Oh my God. But for a fact, okay, at a point, I think I disagree with the Bible, because you cannot stay with someone who really is abusing you to an extent you're losing your life. Because the Bible just wants you to, the Bible advocates for marriages. No, I don't think it's a good thing. And some cultural practices where they believe in marriage more than any person's mental stability. So some cultures actually teach women to endure suffering for the sake of marriage, and that thing is actually for the sake of marriage is always the key statement in all of the conversation from women and men. They always tell you that, "Just do it for the sake of your marriage." No, if it's not working, you just have to leave. You can't force things. You understand? And that's why we always talk about the let them theory. When things are drifting apart, just let it. You understand? Another thing is always the fear of retaliation, because many abusers will always threaten they'll always threaten you with violence, beatings, death, and even custody battles. So this custody battles, I think is the one that really applies when mostly kids are involved. And some of the people actually always don't want to speak because they fear losing everything. And this is for the ones that I was talking about, the people who made wrong financial decisions. You chose to settle with someone because you had no job, you didn't have any way to raise money for your own upkeep. So you felt like you've gotten a safe space in someone. So you're actually fully dependent on this particular person. So starting life again is always terrifying for such victims, because when you've invested your years and emotions in that particular person, it's always not easy for you to restart. Yeah. So how do we live safely emotionally? Number one, you need to accept that you are in danger. I've always talked about acceptance. The number one truth that you need to live with when it comes to you healing or overcoming some things is always the fact that you need to accept. You cannot heal from a situation where you refuse to acknowledge the situation itself. Hi, I just liked you. Oh, thank you. I really do appreciate you. May God bless. So stop believing empty apologies. As I've told you, these people will always bring you down and then come back crying, apologizing constantly. You just have to stop believing in them, because those words actually are meaningless. They mean nothing. You understand? Actually, they mean nothing, because they don't show it through their actions. That their words always are okay. They're full of promises with inconsistent behaviors. In that is a better way if I can frame it. And another thing is always like, you need to document this thing quietly. You need to like keep screenshots for the people who, okay, I love thing one thing I like about women, most of them keep receipts. You understand? You can record these incidences at times, and you can even save the evidences if need be. And for the people who actually believe in living at times, you can as well start like saving money, your own money, secretly without this person knowing, because some of them have gotten control that you even can't have decision on the money that you've made by yourself. So you actually have to recognize that every coin counts when escaping. So you can always like save a little bit, let him not know or let her not know, so that by the time you're leaving, you have that financial freedom, you have somewhere to go to, you can restart life again. And it's always important to tell someone you trust that what you're going through. I understand this is something that is so shameful, and the whole society has made it seem to be like so a shameful moment. So most people always don't talk about it. So actually, you just have to let someone know that you're going through something, and maybe they can help you get possible solutions. Hello, I really do appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. So another thing, you also just have to, when you're planning to exit, you don't have to announce your exit. You can just like as well do it without them knowing about you leaving. So what are the ways of us to heal from these wounds of domestic violence? Remember, healing takes time. It's not a straight walk, not days. Sometimes it takes years, and you have to allow it happen. So give yourself the grace and the grace to go through it. You need to stop rushing the recovery. Allow yourself to embrace the pain without feeling guilty about it. Another thing, you also need to rebuild your identity, because remember that you have been killed by these people. Your identity has disappeared, your identity has been drained. So you are actually someone before you met this person who was abusing you. So you can again find that person again. That is the meaning of rebuilding your identity. Another thing, you need now to learn boundaries. I've been speaking about this for quite a while, about you learning boundaries. You can as well choose to say no when you mean it. Choose your own peace of mind, because your peace really matters more than any other thing. Always protect your energy by all means. You don't have to let someone drain the energy you have out of you. And another thing, you also have to forgive yourself for making some bad decisions you didn't know before. You stayed there because you were trying to survive. So you just have like to forgive yourself constantly. Another thing, you can like join therapy and support groups. For those people who are financially okay, you can seek therapies from counselors and psychologists, let them help you out. And you can as well join therapy groups, these community groups where people go for different kind of, okay, in short term, barazas. You can just like go there, listen to people's stories. In one way, you'll be you'll be walking yourself into the journey of healing. You understand? And another one, rediscover your joy. Remember, your joy was killed, and start introducing some things slowly. Okay, some things that bring peace to you slowly. You don't have to force everything to happen at once. You can just always like allow things to happen step by step for your safety and your own mental wellness. So for those people who are joining in right now, kindly subscribe to my channel. And later on, I've actually uploaded a video on people pleasing, how to break free from these people. You can just please go watch that episode. Kindly support me by just watching my videos, liking, sharing, commenting. I really do appreciate you. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So I want to just like, today we don't have to stay here for long. I just want to conclude by telling you that if you've gone through domestic violence, it's not too late to start over. You understand? And I pray that God helps you walk through it well, through your healing successfully. And may God restore the joy you lost for years or decades or even days. You understand? And You deserve peace because peace was meant to be yours. You actually deserve love, you deserve safety, and you even deserve joy because your joy and safety and love was killed for. So thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you again and again and again. I just want to say thank you for the subscriptions, thank you for the likes, thank you for the shares, and thank you for the comments. I really do appreciate you all. My name is Joy Victory, and this is Joy Victory TV. See you in the next live stream. Bye.